The Natural Home Network. The Natural Home Network. The Natural Home Network. The Natural Home Network.
Welcome to the Natural Home Network. I'm your host, Adrienne Carwheel. Today we have an amazing guest, Bridgette Pridgen. She is a family design coach, but more recently, she is a holistic wellness designer. Can I put it that way, Bridgette?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sure. I help Black women to develop healing habits at home. And this live stream showcases Black women in business being entrepreneurs so they can share their stories of wellness and healing behind closed doors. So today, Bridgette, tell us who you are, what you do, and we're going to get into a conversation about how you heal behind closed doors.
Oh, well,
Who
thank you.
are
First of all,
you?
thank you for having me here. I'm so grateful for this opportunity and to just chit chat with my girl.
For sure.
Um, I am not a woman of a lot of words. So when it comes to talking about me, I can talk about everybody else, but not talk about Bridgette. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Bridgette Pridgen, and I am a holistic interior designer and wellness coach. And I help moms who are just like you and I, who work from home to redesign their lives, their homes, and their environment so they can thrive. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. See, that's called balance, right? so,
Yes, that's definitely.
so you say holistic wellness coach, or you say holistic designer.
Mm-hmm,
What is
mm-hmm.
that? Like, I think of design. I know you as an interior designer, right? But
Yes.
what is a holistic designer? What does that mean?
So basically, holistic designer is another a word for a designer who goes further. It's about the whole wellness of the person, the well-being of the person. So not only do we focus on just the interior space, we also focus on the well-being of the whole person. So we utilize our holistic practices and our holistic background to implement these strategies within the home to help the person within their space. So as far as we treat the whole person, the mind, the body, the spirit, and their physical space.
So it
So
sounds
that's
like you have to do inside before you go outside.
exactly. And that's
Okay.
a very important part. It's actually a play on words. Interior design. We're also talking about your interior. We're also talking about your home, your dwelling, as well as your physical and your internal home. So inside, everything is going on inside of you. And a part of this in my platform with as being a holistic interior designer is to show people the correlation between what goes on inside of you as well as your environment and how they intermingle with each other and how one plays off of the other.
So I know that, like, when I don't have my office or I don't have my things where I need them, I can't focus and concentrate. I can't do what I need to do. If my little area, and I don't know if it's because I'm obsessing, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
there is something to it where if you don't take care
Oh,
of
yeah.
the interior, you really can't address like moving on to design a space or even begin your work, especially if you work from home when everything is around you.
And how about an argument or disagreement you may have the night before with your spouse or your child, and you go in, you wake up the next morning, you carrying this weight, and then you're wondering why things are kind of all over the place in your physical space. Well, you haven't addressed the interior things that just transpired the night before.
Mm.
Those things that go on, whether it's something that happened within your physical environment, but it has affected your internal environment, those things go hand in hand. And so you're referring to your physical space and not seeing things or not having things organized in your physical space in your office, and you're kind of, flustered or off balance. Well, that goes to say the same thing happens when you carry, the baggage from the previous argument, the
Yeah.
night before, or,
Yeah.
you
And
got into
especially
it with
all
your
of us
boss.
are home.
Exactly. Yes.
There's no escaping. I mean, I've been virtual for a year with
Oh, yes, yes.
every everybody is home. Lord have mercy.
Everybody's at home.
Everybody is
Excuse me.
home.
Everyone's at home, and at the same time, a lot of us are not at home. And what I
Oh
mean
no.
by that is because we don't even know what home is. We don't even know who we are.
Mm.
And we don't even know, and, now this is giving us an opportunity to really learn and go within. We're almost forced to go within, not just in the physical dwelling and not being able to go outside, but we're forced to go within because you're having to look at me and look at him and look at the kids every day. And you're like,
All day.
I don't like this.
Yeah.
I don't like the way this is working out. I don't like the way he talks to me. I don't like the way this is, or whatever the situation may be.
Mm-hmm.
Even, I learned a lot with myself going through the quarantine. And one of the things that I learned is I don't like certain things about me. And one of
Oh,
mine is some of my habits. So that
yeah.
caused me to go within. And
Mm-hmm.
if I would not have been forced to be in a situation to be quarantined and to be away from all of the noise, so to speak, I probably would have missed an opportunity of growth and change. So it has
Oh,
been really beneficial.
oh my goodness. That is me to a T, in the sense that I think I didn't give myself an opportunity to get quiet before I needed
Mhm.
to get quiet, to see what I even like, let
And
alone
you,
my
yeah,
physical space, just being a wife, being a mother, being an entrepreneur, starting a business, starting a live stream show, and then everything all over the place. We're in the middle of construction in my home. So everybody is still here and
it,
life still goes on.
life
However,
goes on.
I still need to check in with myself and see what I need. Is it quiet? Is it loud? Sometimes I just like to crank the music up and turn it up, but I got to be sensitive for a year to the fact that we got other stuff going on. We have virtual school, virtual work, construction, like I was saying. So if I tuck those things away, and either I don't, like, I can tuck it away and deal with it later, but then
Mhm.
just to acknowledge that I need to address it and then move
Mhm.
forward, rather than tucking it away and just ignoring it and acting as if these little things don't impact me. It does impact my body, my heart, but also my environment as well.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up about tucking things away. And
Mm.
being a designer, a lot of times people are able to understand even more what it is that I do when I speak from a design perspective. You know, if I come into your home and I see that you have a crack in the wall, I cannot just paint over that wall or put lipstick on it and make it pretty. I have to first figure out where the crack came from and then fix the crack. And then we can make it pretty. So
Right.
taking those things away, where you were, referring to, and in terms of yourself and kind of not dealing with self, that is that's my whole passion. It's showing people how to really get to the root of the problem, or get a baseline, and like you said, you didn't have a chance to have that silence that you needed before you were forced
Yes.
into.
Yes.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
moving on to the next task, or moving on, somebody else is always needing something. My attention is always put on something else. So even to get to the interior of the dwelling, I still have to deal with the interior of me. So
Yes.
I appreciate, I think what you're talking about even more so is just bringing awareness
Yes.
to the fact that we don't operate in a way that heals us. We operate sort of in this survival mode all the
Yes.
time, this
All the time.
taskmaster sort
We
of
constantly have the motor revved up. I tell my clients all the time, if you leave your car crunk all day, all night, and it's constantly revved up, that car is going to be in bad shape in a day or so.
it's
Well,
going to
we
burn out.
constantly, yes, as mothers, we don't ever look at it like that. But our motor is constantly running. We're constantly revved up, and we go from one thing to the next, from being a wife to being a mother to being a teacher to being, the soccer mom, to being a support, a friend, a sister, all of these different titles and these different roles that we play, but we forget about us. We forget about our home, our interior, and how it is the foundation. It's about getting back to the foundation, and that's how you create balance, harmony in all areas of your life.
Thank you for that. I think I've also learned that my children are watching.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
watching, and so they are seeing how I cope. Is it that I'm keeping that engine going? And sometimes society like rewards you, like, oh, good job. You can balance all this. You got a job, you got a man, your house is clean, your kids are clean, they're taken care of, they got good grades, and you got a hot dinner on the stove at 6:00. And I'm like, that's just really not my life. It's not. And I think it's important to show that to my children, to my girls, that I am not what I do. I am worthy just because I was born, rather
Exactly.
than this. Like, that's the interior work for me, showing them boundaries and showing how they can have agency over their own little bodies as well in their own time. You know what I'm saying? But then to say that mommy is not only mommy, but she's a person who needs breaks, a person who needs transition, a person who needs rest. Did we say rest at the same time? Rest.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
Yes.
you have this, the perfect wife or the perfect mother prototype that gets up before everybody else and is sitting at the table with her Bible cracked open, talking to God for 7 hours. That's not my life. That's not my life. No.
And that's not a life that I actually strive for as well.
No,
Because to me, it's not a life of balance. And what I have learned, first of all, is I understand that, like you said, as mothers and wives, we have a almost understated responsibility. It's like, you're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do this. And I like that you brought the point of saying that, I'm a woman. You're a woman first. You are a person. And you, as the person, your soul has not only assignments, but you have purpose. You have things that you want to do. And to do those things, you have to have a certain amount of recharge and rest and, rejuvenation. And so, as I think about it, the woman is the heartbeat of the home. It's a rhythm. It's a certain rhythm that we have. But the biggest takeaway is, I have come up with my own rhythm, not what society has said I'm supposed to be. Because that's what happens, where I say, I have a line on my website is saying that you are the leading act of your own circus. And you don't even know it. You juggling, you're running, you going all over the place, and you are the clown. be honest, and so, but for me, what it did for me was to really, take a look at my life and to look at what the world around me is saying that our life should be, and then say, that's not what I want. But this is what I want. And getting up before the crack of dawn is not me. I'm sorry. It's not me.
or if I am, I'm not with anybody. I'm not doing anything,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Not my life. So we talked a little bit about the emotional wellness that comes out of being able to be still enough to hear what you want, to hear what you need, to do the work that's necessary to get your interior self and interior home together.
Yes.
You have this signature program called Emotion-Led Design.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain a little bit about that? I mean, it sounds like that's what this is, but just if it is your, I guess, trademark, what is it?
Yes, it is. So Emotion-Led Design was birthed out of me hearing a lot of working with different clients in the design world, and having so many people coming to me with, oh, I want my room to look like this. I want to, I like this picture and I want to design this space around it. Or my mom had this and I want to do this, right? Well, I learned through this process of working with these women is a lot of people basically design based off of how their mother designed, or they came up with a design based off of a color or some type of inspiration. Mm-hmm. But what they fail to realize is, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel in your space? And so it got me thinking, and it got me thinking about, when you go to a model home, the first thing you see is how well the house is laid out, how it looks. Every room, is coordinating with the other. The way it feels is because it's the cohesiveness that they have brought together through color. So that drove me to go even further with color and color therapy. Well, I learned that every color evokes an emotion. So every color has an emotion that's attached to it. So with my degree, my background in psychology, I chose to utilize emotions and color therapy and bring them together. So when we go into, creating a space of intention, of a purpose, of refuge or relaxation, you want to create a space by the emotions that you want to evoke. So I started teaching workshops, teaching women how to utilize emotions and these psychology principles and bringing color therapy in to create their custom color blends. And when you utilize those colors is what's going to evoke the emotion. Those colors is what you see when you go to a model home. That's what you like. Oh, I love this. You remember the picture on the wall. It's because of the colors. So I took that and created the Emotion-Led Design system. And so that is what I use, and that is what I teach women on how to redesign their lives. But not only can this method be utilized for your interior in terms of, redoing your bedroom, but it also can be utilized in other areas of your life.
For example,
if you decide, you say you want a change of career, So if it's a certain, you ever heard of, you dress for the part, for the job that you want, right? So let's just say that you're interested in getting a position of power. You want to go into a more corporate type of job. Okay. This job is a place that is more fast, upbeat. It's a power play. It's a position where, you're seen as respected, or you're respected. You have this particular what's the word I'm looking for? Just power. Just say power. Mm-hmm. So if you're seeking to attract this type of job in your life, the colors that represent power is red. The colors gray, black, sophistication. Okay.
I got on red today.
So think about when a woman wears a red lip. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A red lip, most women, when they put on a red lip, they feel more attractive. They feel a certain air about themselves. They feel confident. That's because of what the color red represents and what it means. So if you would utilize the system of emotion-led design, you're saying what it is that you want to evoke in your life. And this way you want to evoke a different career. So you start inputting these type of things in your life. You start wearing red lipstick. You start painting your nails red. You start bringing in colors, these colors that's going to give, it's color therapy. It's all about your psyche anyway. So you start implementing these colors into your life that's going to evoke the emotions that you're trying to attract. So it's all with the law of attraction and what it is that you see, what you expose yourself to, what you put yourself and surround yourself with in your environment is what you attract.
That is fascinating. And when you describe it like that, it makes perfect sense, right? So,
Yes.
for example, if a woman is working from home and they want to change, the way that they feel overwhelmed, they feel overworked, they feel like they don't have this work-life balance, they feel as if there is this I guess imbalance, for lack of a better word. What color would you recommend for if they're designing their office space to evoke the emotion of forward movement or dedication and focus and things of that nature?
Okay, so well, it's a couple of things because right off top my head, magenta. Magenta is
for office.
yes, magenta is a color of, it means harmony. So what you asked is balance. Okay, they're trying to. I'm sorry. This was a very important call. I'm sorry. But if you're trying to attract balance into your life, the colors that represent balance is magenta, turquoise is another color because turquoise is a relaxing. Turquoise or teal are relaxing colors. They are colors that harmonize the body, harmonize the mind. Okay. Now, see, another thing, what I want for people to understand, when you're utilizing color therapy and you're utilizing these colors, you don't have to be so literal. So say for instance, you're saying you want to promote, if you're a person that's, seem to be very sickly, you're always sick and you want to attract health or good health into your life, green is a color. Okay. So green is a color also of, if you're trying to attract money, green is a color. Well, it also is a color for health, right? That's why hospitals use it. Well, that doesn't mean you need to paint your wall green, but you can add green plants. You can add live plants. You can add a pop of color, green pillows. And it's all about, how you utilize the color too. I promise you, if you try just changing the colors that you wear, you'll see a difference. One of the reasons that I wear this magenta lipstick, it is one of my brand colors. However, it is the color of harmony. And that's where I want to be at all times. I want to keep myself at an even keel, even balance, even though I know I'm going through got a lot going on right now.
It's all good.
That's what I constantly and consciously want to attract in my life. So that's why I chose those colors. Yeah. But also blue. Blue is also my brand color. Blue is a color of loyalty. Blue is a color of a calming color, trustworthy. It's a color of stability. Okay. So when people see me and they see my brand, they see the pop of magenta, they see the color, then they see the blue, but I'm giving that balance, harmony. So it all, and the thing about it is what I really would like for people to start thinking about, we are transformed by color every day. Most of us think about the smell of foods or as music that we have heard that kind of affect us and it makes you think about something. But we rarely think about how much color has an effect on us. But if you go look in your closet right now, I guarantee you're going to see a pattern.
Monochromatic. How many black shirts can I own? Honestly, which is why I chose a color, because I always pick black.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you pick black for a reason. You're drawn to it. You know, and black is a color of power, strength, stability, you know, so that's why you pick black. So if you could just take a moment and just kind of look around your space and kind of think, we're drawn to colors.
Tune in next time for our episode of Healing Habits at Home with Adrienne Carwheel, Wednesdays at 5:30 Eastern Time, right here on KP Media TV. That's it for this week. Join us again next Wednesday for Healing Habits at Home with Adrienne Carwheel.